I want to talk to you guys today about Kevin Samuels. He's got some issues right now, and I know he's not addressing them as many of y'all would want him to. you know, want him to. And I'm glad he's not. He's smart. Same thing I was talking about with Toxic Diamond the other day. I'm glad he's not responding to this shit. This petition right now going for Kevin Samuels to be removed from YouTube. And I'm going to talk about the ideology behind it in a minute, but more importantly, what I want to talk about is this, because a lot of people think I'm going to jump on here and smash Kevin Samuels. Nah, we're not doing that. Nah, we ain't doing that. Nah, we ain't doing that. See, I seen video after video. Before I get to the petition and everything, I just want to say this and highlight for myself. I've seen video, as many of y'all have, from Kevin Samuels. Some of the girls that call in on Kevin Samuels' channel, they call in because they want a true, valid opinion in their mind of what they look like, what they're worth socially, economically, and sexually in the marketplace as far as dating. A lot of the women will call in as a goof, knowing that they are going to receive a harsh climate once they get in there, not only from Kevin Samuels' audience, no, but also from Kevin Samuels himself, in which, in turn, most of these women go in with the pre-notion that shit's going to get turned up to some degree or another. They would cut this man off, or whatever. But what we haven't realized is, are any of the things that he's saying actually true? Are any of the things only brighten reality? See, I don't believe Kevin Samuels is saying black women have no worth. That's just ridiculous. No, he's not saying that. That would take it fully out. No, what he's saying is, don't have an inflated ego of what you actually are. That goes for man or woman. Man or woman. Now, with that being said, and seeing all the interactions that have happened on Kevin Samuels' show, and seeing all the interactions that have happened via guests coming on, knowing initially what they're getting into, it was this petition that I knew was in falsehood. Oh, yeah. See, this petition is more than just about Kevin Samuels. Oh, you better believe that. This petition is a warning shot. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me a little bit better now. Sorry about that. This petition is a warning shot. Oh, yeah, that's what that is. Don't make no mistake about it any day of the week. This is a warning shot from feminists. This is a warning shot from feminists and unattractive women. And I'm sorry to say it like that, that's exactly what it is. Because if you look at most feminists, you will not find too many pretty, full, entrailed feminists unless they're lesbians. Most of the time. Most of the time. Most of those women, you will look at them because their bodies have now matriculated into a structure where, in my opinion, their buttocks starts to decrease, where a woman's buttocks would be lifted. Now their buttocks is almost flat. Their chest starts to take a malformation, where their chest, they've been pressing it down with tape or whatever else they use to have more of a manly chest. In some cases, some women get their breasts removed. There are female to male transsexuals out there in society as well, which a lot of motherfuckers don't talk about, but they're out there. Yes, a man with a vajay, basically, and no breast. Weird, I know. My point is, this is about a deep-seated, dark type of feminism. A feminism that's only about control and control of anything that's within the paradigm of being controlled. And men, I got to tell you once again, you don't stick up for Kevin. You watch Kevin Samuels, you don't stick up for Kevin Samuels right now, you a fool. Because this is more than just about Kevin Samuels, it's about you and your right to voice your opinion. That's what this is about. This is about the same women that sit online and slander men daily. Daily. Whether it be their comments, whether it be their videos they individually put up. I've never seen a petition put up to take Cynthia G off a line. And if anybody should be taken offline, it should be her. She's got online and called men beta males and all kinds of shit. But let me paraphrase a little bit, and I'm going to circle back around to Cynthia G. See, the reason I mentioned Cynthia G is because the diatribe within this petition says Kevin Samuels has, in the past year, had men attributed to him that have committed violence in his name. homie, you should be right now at a fucking lawyer's office suing this shit. Is that so? Well, the question I got to ask you then, sweetie, is where these defendants at so we can get validation? And do these defendants live in your city? Because I never heard nobody yet saying that they committed a crime against a woman because Kevin Samuels influenced them. Kevin Samuels doesn't even have diatribe on his page that would suggest that you go rape a woman. If anything, the diatribe that's posed on his page is based on something totally opposite. Meaning, most of these women at the average rate that they're being rated wouldn't be even worthy of rape. If that's a contrived here, I would say. But many women don't want to listen to that. They want to listen to their inner feelings and their inner, my little pony, my little pony. A lot of these girls are just that, little girls. Little grown little girls with degrees, little grown little girls with certificates, little grown little girls with blue-collar jobs, little grown little girls that envision nothing in their mind but a picket fence, and they think they should have a chance at one. Well, everybody ain't got a chance at a picket fence. Sometimes some of them chicks was out there painting the goddamn fence. A maid or the chamber woman can't become the fucking queen. No more than a man that's the motherfucking horse tender or a man that works as the smithy, you know what I'm saying, the blacksmith, can become king. And that's what we're got this delusional state of mind out here. I highlighted that point because I read that petition, and then she had some other stuff to put in there. She put in Constitution, she put something in there constitutional, and then she turned around and made a statement right after in the next paragraph that went against the Constitution and his constitutional rights. You have accused this man, falsely, may I add, you have accused this man of being the center of women being attacked in this country. Oh, no, sweetheart. Let me tell you something. See, you ain't dig deep enough on YouTube. That's the problem. Huh? Claro. You ain't dig deep enough into YouTube right now. And I know I keep saying this and I don't do it because I don't want some motherfuckers to go over there and fuck it up. But I figured out a way I could do it without linking the channels over there because I'll be over there. So that's how I know before you go into that. How he know? That's how I know because I go over there because I'm not a fucking coward, as you can see. When I go over to some of these white nationalists, these white racist channels, if you don't follow what I'm saying, when I go over to their channels, what I find is a lot of times these men, I'm not talking about just a few men, I'm talking about some of these people, and sometimes in their live chats have over 4,000 to 5,000 people on their live chat. These are white nationalists. I'll be over there. I'd have told y'all that from the time I got on here, I'd be over those channels. That's why I be always saying, why y'all ain't over at them channels? Because them niggas got way more followers. Them niggas got, even your top black blogger, the motherfuckers got more followers than him. He could just be an average Joe. White power, yee-hoo! Well, the one thing they always talk about is attacking black women. I found that unilateral at every last one of these places. Unilateral. Y'all give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, y'all. Don't know Rachel from Dealer Services. I got one of them calls, some robocalls. These white nationalists on their channel, and they're not talking about this attacking black women. They're talking about attacking Spanish women and so on and so forth. I saw one guy recommend bringing back in, who was, to me, equated to slavery damn near with the women and quoting what they used to do to them and all kinds of stuff. I heard one guy did a whole hour show about how Django Unchained was historically wrong and how it would have went. He said Calvin Candy wouldn't have gotten killed. Something to think about. So when I point that out and I say that about black women, I want you to put into contention is this. There are men out here, white men, that are saying way, way worse. And if you look at Sandra Bland, if you look at many of these other women that have been attacked, that woman in Texas who was attacked by a white man. Remember the rally behind that? When we look at a couple other situations with the football player that was a white male that beat up that black girl so goddamn bad, he broke both her places in her jaw, broke her ribs, and damn near killed her and left her there. This 6'4" motherfucker. And nobody went out there to check that nigga, including the football players. Nobody checked this white boy. And you know why nobody checked her? Because of the same behavior that I keep talking about. The deduction of the black man in society. And this is an attempt to do that. This is why a woman or a group of women that are misogynists, excuse me, they do not like men, okay? This is a very different form, very different form of feminism that's used under the ladder of feminism or under the flag of feminism. But being a misogynist, it's not that. It is an innate of men in general, doesn't matter what color y'all, whatever. But view it that, and I hate to say this, on an economical totem pole, men are builders. So that's one thing you can't take away from men. Men are builders, men are in your armies, even though we have women in the army, and I salute that. There's a lot of good women soldiers out there. But men are your battlers, your creators, and always have been since the dawn of the wheel. You know what I mean? Eve and if some people's religions, Lilith, were created for Adam. So let's not get too far astray because we're on the internet nowadays. And that's what you're seeing from these women that are like this. Not all women, these women that are like this. I want to emphasize that. Because you have to have a lot of contention and a lot of hate in your heart. You have to have a lot of gumption in your heart to say, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to make up a petition. I'm going to have the audacity and the fucking gall to get this guy off of YouTube because I don't like what he's saying. And the same thing happened for me, and the same thing happened for a lot of other vloggers. We hit these contentious, boohoo, my little pony ass chicks online that are forever 21, just as the store suggests. Forever 21, mentally. And I say under 21, I say forever 14. Because mentally where they are, a lot of these girls that you see that, I'm talking about the ones, I'm not talking about women in general, I'm talking about the segment of women that'll sit there and talk about women's rights, but at the same time, you butt ass naked online. Every day. I can't open up Instagram in front of certain crowds because I don't know what you posted. I'm about to unfollow. You will see woman after woman after woman after woman after woman on Instagram. And if any woman sits there and says, oh, no, you don't. They're doing it for liberty. They're doing it for freedom. You're doing it because this shit is a fucking digital reminder for you 5-10 years from now when your kids come up and they be like, Mommy, why did you do this? They passing this around the school on everybody's phone. There's mama with her ass poked out. You know what I mean? Where's your dignity there? Because you projectionally and trajectorily can't see that far into the future to say, hey, I may not be want to put these photos up for whatever reason. They might come back to haunt me. You see how posts come back when you always have something that happens in society and a post comes back of something obnoxious you've done in society. Maybe you said something wrong to a woman. Maybe you overreacted in a moment. Maybe you were drunk or whatever. That video gets sent to your employer and your employer says, we have terminated Jerome or Becky or Sue or whoever the fuck, Kenesha, we terminated them today based on a video that came across our offices, you know what I mean? And they will have a statement to read prepared by a lawyer. Now, a lot of these women, these 15,000 women, because evidently there's 15,000 women that believe that Kevin Samuels' daily diatribes lead to sexual assaults on women. And I say once again, would you please go to some of these white nationalists, get the balls in your heart, the same balls and the gall and the energy you got against your own, have the same balls and galls to go over to a white nationalist channel and say, you know what, you motherfuckers, the jig is up. But you won't. You won't. You'll sit around and you'll bicker and argue, create petitions for this man, but I don't see any of these black feminists doing that. I don't see any of these Latina feminists doing that. Instead of doing that, they'd rather become assimilated and flow in society, hence why this woman mentioned the Constitution and the diatribe on the petition that she's got on the page. on change.org. For what? Of all the shit you can change out here for black people and Latin people, this is what you highlight? And just like I told you before, during the pandemic, there was a bill passed by Governor Gavin Newsom, and Governor Gavin Newsom passed a fucking bill during the pandemic on hair. Chick, ain't nobody at work right now. It's a fucking pandemic. And you're worried about hair? Hair? Let's see, somebody wrote in here. Peace, brother. What's going on? Just said, thank you very much. It's sad out here, brother, but the way Kevin is trying to change them is not working. The Israelite teachers of the Bible, the only way to change them. Thank you. And you know what? I agree with that. And I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, but I get where you're coming from. It does have to do with doctrine. That's why I mentioned Adam, Eve, and potentially Lilith, depending on how you believe. But in the way I believe Lilith was Adam's first wife. She refused to be beholden, wanted to lead. So she was come down, destroyed, and then this one was made closer to him, being made from his rib. That didn't even work out. She had a bite of apple. You know what I'm saying? So potentially you could say that women have been a risk for kings and Cleopatra. Look what the fuck happened to him. There have always been a segment of women or men in society that have been manipulative, have used different realms or whatever to gain a hierarchy in society, the kingdomship, whatever, queenship, whatever. There's always been people like that, okay? Elizabeth Bathory believed that she could bathe in virgin's blood and become young forever. You know what I mean? So it's always been some maniacal motherfucker in society. But the problem is the doctrine of religion plays the biggest course. I don't care if you're a Christian, a Muslim, whatever the case you may be and what you believe in, it has a common goal and system within your belief system, which is this. You believe in something. And a lot of what people believe in, whether it be the Christian, specifically the Christian Bible, the Jewish Torah, and the Muslim doctrine, they all three go together. They even share the same stories within each other. There's 25,000 different renditions of the Bible, when at one time the Bible wasn't even articulated in English. It was snuck out. First translated into German, then later on into English. And a man almost died trying to get it out to William something. I forgot what his last name was, but William something, I believe that's what his name was. So yeah, religion plays the degradation of religion, rather. And society, as once we were not even 20 years ago, definitely plays. You will hear the Christians overly say all the time, we believe we're under attack. We believe we're under attack. If you go to other countries that have Coptic Christians, or what I mean by Coptic Christians are Christians that go way, way back to maybe 12th, 13th century, maybe before that, before history's record. And you will see the same thing with them. They will say that they've been attacked, acid attacks, physical attacks, bombed, missiled. In my opinion, everything that just went on with Israel and Palestine, that's been going on for probably 40 years plus, not even more. I believe that had something to do with religion, ultimately. So there's always been fights over religions. The Crusades were fought over religions. You know, Dante's Inferno, which is based on the Crusades. If none of y'all ever read Dante's Inferno, please read all three. It's essential you read all three. Just don't read Dante's Inferno, which is the middle book. Ascension is the best. My point is, this all led to the behaviors. You see, when you break down structural systems that were based, this is a Christian country, and even in Africa, where we descend from, it is a religious country. You understand what I'm saying? Both are religious. They might have their own doctrine of religion, but both are religious. Whether you go to voodoo roots, whether you go to Hittite, whether you go to Muslim, whether you go to, you know, whatever one you want to within that region of North, Central, and South, East, West Africa, and all throughout all throughout the Middle East mostly. They go to mosques together. I've dated a woman that was Muslim for 7 years. You know what I mean? So trust me, I know what I'm talking about. That the religion itself plays part in it because of this, without going on this long diatribe. It moves women further and further away. See, as you open up barriers and you say, okay, it's okay to do this, when once it was mentioned that it wasn't okay to do this, then what happens is it starts furthering itself. If you need an example of this, go back and watch the movie Malcolm X and remember that segment where he is talking to Elijah Muhammad And Elijah Muhammad says it off his own lips. He says our women are wayward, they're walking around dressing all kinds of ways, they talking all kinds of ways, they're doing all kinds of fornicating act. Not verbatim, but this is what he says, paraphrasing. Now, if you look at that behavior, you will see something significant with that behavior at that time. TV and the social climate at that time. Because see, at the same time, this is around the time that the Vietnam War was going on, and this was what Malcolm X was talking about and protesting against. That's not our war. Then he further made a statement later on and said, well, I guess the chickens will come home to roost. Based off the same thing about Kennedy and the war. I can't make this shit up. So you really look at that, and you see media involved, and you see the movement that was going on based on Vietnam, based on the civil rights movement, based on all these things going on at the same time. It gave a liberation to women that had already been there with Amelia Earhart and the feminist movement and its roots in the 1880s, but had now been furthered and amalgamated into something different and something dark. So now these women, you come into a period now coming out of that time, mid 60s, whatever, late 60s into the 70s. Now women are burning their bras in protests. Roe versus Wade comes about. All these things come about, and they're superseding anything in Christian, Muslim, or whatever else doctrine. Okay? They've opened up the floodgates for this type of mentality. Now you further go 20 years, 30 years into the future from 1980 on up, it takes a brief halt. I say feminism took a brief halt for about 10 years in a strong play of the media. About 10 years, maybe a little bit less, but about 10 years. When you fast forward back into 1990, you start getting it again. And this time it's in the disposition of Queen Latifah. It's in the disposition of Moni Love. That whole native tongue vibe and all that stuff, a lot of it invoked feminism. You just heard Queen Latifah come out herself not too long ago and tell you guys, after fucking 35 plus years, hey, guess what, guys? I'm a lesbian. Booty, booty, ho, ho. You know what I mean? So it's like, you fast forward from there, you go to 2000s, women are starting to get more cladly. I'm gonna even throw Kim in there, the music influence. All these are degradations against doctrines, no matter what doctrine is yours of choice, no matter what, decree of religion you follow, whatever the case may be. These are all intricate tools in degrading society's females. Now, you go past Foxy, you get up to Kim and the Bardys and everybody else like that, and now you see where the ideology and them being able to chip in and give their 2 cents on any subject that goes to matter. There was a time in this country when everybody couldn't do that. You couldn't chime in. That's why some people's opinions superseded others for so long. I'm gonna let somebody's got some shit. The Jesuits did a lot of killing. Dabby, thank you very much. Yeah, True Be a Love. You say you have a question, ask me anything. Sure. The point I'm getting at is, just type in the thing and I'll answer it for you. The point is, all these degradations against society and against further men even stem back to the fucking slave days. And I always mention this. Back in the slave days, as all of us know, and this is depicted very well in 12 Years a Slave, if you've never seen that movie. I implore you to go see that movie because it happened right here in this area. It happened in upstate New York, where Solomon was kidnapped and taken to the South and reintroduced and put back into slavery. And it also serves as a monotone for other things I talk about, which, if you really want to say institutionally, kind of like what these women are doing is kind of trying to play the head mammy of the slave place. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm talking about. They used to indoctrinate Christianity into slaves heavily. It was almost mandated, even after 6 days of work, that these slaves rest on the 7th day, gain their strength back, and also come to church. And after church, we would have a continual prayer to more indoctrinated into them. The God gave them to me. It is my right to have slaves. And to be quite honest with you, you shouldn't be ashamed of it because the history of slavery has more connection to whites, specifically Portuguese, Spaniards, and furthermore, the Russians and Serbs, as you know today, but the Slavics, more than anybody. They're the first ones that invented this shit. They were enslaving their own people for thousands and thousands of years. If you want me to go a little bit even further, the Nubians only reigned over Egypt for a certain amount of time, meaning the blacks of what you call this part of Africa. It was other different sects that ruled over Egypt. And in different periods, they had different architecture, which you could tell, whether it's King Nifru or whoever else, or the Sphinx. I mean, there's different segments where you see different types of styles of pyramid, but even though the pyramid is still the same and symmetrically, it's still built different, if that makes sense. This slavery mentality of Christianity and putting into Christianity or whatever, was always imposed by Mammy. All right, now, y'all get up now. We got Church of Master waiting for you. You don't believe me? Watch 12 Years a Slave. Oh, Cora, go in the house, get her cleaned up and ready for Dr. Schultz. You don't believe me? Brunhilde spoke what? German. So she could talk to her mistress in the house. See, there's privileges that come along with cooning. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Cooning on this degree. And that's what these women are doing with this petition. This petition is nothing but to control you. Yeah, he getting a little too big for his britches. Let's take him down a tone. You know how many times I've heard that talk from a woman? We need to take him down a tone. They don't never want to take a white man down a tone, or any other man or any other culture. They want to take their men under control. Because they believe in their mind from watching other women that other women have their men in control. But no, I beg to differ. I'm half black, half Cubano. And I know for a fucking fact that ain't the truth at all. It's an imagery that you put in your head to be competitive with other women. And trying to control men's opinions is only going to get you put into a place. It may not be right now. It may not be a year from now. It may not be 2 years from now. But if you want to talk about something that's provoking men, attacking women, it ain't Kevin Samuels. It would be the 15,000 women that signed that motherfucking petition. I'll say it for you again. If anybody was to promote or have the attitudes that further, and I'm not accepting that shit, because anybody that fucking attacks a woman, you're a weak motherfucker. Any woman, and the abundance of women getting attacked in society is deemed off of Kevin Samuels versus what white supremacists are saying on their channels, and you ain't got no petition up to stop that. What's wrong? You scared somebody gonna show up? You scared? Now, y'all say y'all see some strong women. I see some punk ass bitches that got attitude problems and need to be shut the fuck up. That's what I see. And I see too many punk ass men sitting back that was raised by mama. Mama. That's all about boys and men. Mama. Oh, mama's boy ass motherfucker. That's what we used to call it. I don't know. Y'all just started accepting the mama's boy. Back when I was coming up, we didn't accept mama's boys. Mama's boy ass motherfucker. Get the fuck up out of here, bitch. Go home and drink something. You know what I mean? Get your bottled water or something. Ain't around no mama's boys. That was a shame. That was a shame to be a mama's boy. Anybody remember that in the chat room? And somebody said they wanted to ask me a question and never asked the question. Hey, D, facts, but almighty is the throw. Where does one draw the line in asserting women's rights and feminism? Are you saying that assertion of women's rights is feminism? No, what I'm telling you, the language within your assertion is meant to manipulate in some cases, just like the language in a contract. Hold on 1 second. Let this go by real quick. I want to let this fire truck go by so y'all can hear me. Because he's going to have a little problem here because he's got a dump truck and everything else in front of him. Oh, they pulled over. Good job. Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. Good job. It's the language. See, the language is more important than anything. This is why you see a lot, and I'm going to use this example, but please follow me. Language is the best example of how people have been manipulated. Slavery itself was written, the language it was written in was a manipulation of what now you know is your constitutional rights. Would you not argue with that? A contractual agreement from a rap artist in which the record company receives more than the artist does eventually and inevitably. Is that a contract that I shouldn't look and see what the declaration is and see what the language is in it and why I'm getting screwed over at the time? Well, the same thing holds hold to feminism. See, The thing about feminism is equated to what I was mentioning about Black Lives Matter. There is no central location, central headquarters. Therefore, you have individuals within the organization or advocacy that feel that any time or another they can say what they want to, and as long as they underline it with feminism, then it should be accepted. At that time, that is a form of Marxism. It's also a form of dictatorship, because you are dictating to what we should aspire to based on your whims and quotes and the way you feel inside that you may not feel inside 5 years, 10 years from now. Which you may not feel inside if you didn't have two illegitimate kids that you have to work extra hard, plus trying to go to school for. See, I understand what y'all do. Oh, I understand what y'all do. Okay, I understand what y'all do. When my mom and dad broke up, my mom was doing it. So I respect you. But what I don't respect is when you throw in pure, blatant lies. And I've seen that a million times on Kevin Samuels' channel, where women come on there and they will lie. Or they will harbor the truth. That's not feminism, sweetheart. That's called manipulation. So when you're asserting your rights, and you ask me, are you asserting your rights should be, hey, I'm being attacked physically. There's no indication, there's no whim, there's not one police report or anything else that has been presented within that diatribe. You can add files. I want to add this. You can add files, videos, and everything else to your change.org petitions. Okay? There was not one police record. Y'all, listen, y'all chicks go and find out when motherfucking the Toxic Diamond get arrested and got her arrest records and every fucking thing else, and she do the reverse for y'all, but y'all can't find the motherfucking any assertion or any proclamation or declaration that something that somebody did attacking women increased because of Kevin Samuels. That is a high allegation. And just because somebody gets on and tells you the truth, a lot of them women that get on there, we can see with our own two eyes. In the common world, 5 years before all this rallying went on online, and it all falls into things like this. See, these are forms of feminism too. Body positivity. That's a form of feminism. That is forcing your ideas and the dictatorship on other people to say, you must accept me however I look. And you must find me attractive, and somebody must marry me. Are you out of your fucking mind? That's like me waking up tomorrow morning and saying, hey, you know what? I deserve some vajay today, and somebody's gonna give it to me. I deserve a wife today, and somebody's gonna give me one. I don't like Cynthia G, and I'm gonna shut her up. Let me start a petition. And I'll say, Cynthia G is responsible because of her diatribe on a daily basis. She is responsible for me not having a wife. She's responsible for more men going to prison. She's responsible for less men of color being dated, because her rhetoric has been online for damn near, I would say, close to 7 to 8 years. And she ended up ultimately going to have a side baby with a viewer that already had a couple, then more than enough of side babies. You see the fraud in that? So when we talk about assertion of your rights to me is men attacking y'all. That I'm with. What you don't have a fucking right to do is try to equate women getting attacked with the diatribe about women's looks. That doesn't even make sense. Men don't rape unattractive women most of the time. They try to find something attractive because they know it's a possibility they're going to jail. I would think. That doesn't make any sense. And so that's why a lot of these things these women say, and a lot of these things these women put out there, they don't make sense, underlining the advocacy of libertarianism, in my opinion, and mixed in with this weird form of feminism. It's not feminism. Feminism doesn't dictate that you get to do what the fuck you want to do, superseded over everybody else's rights. LBGT doesn't mean that you get to do whatever you want to do and it supersedes over everybody else's rights either. And those are the two groups I fundamentally, and for some reason or another, they both adequately and evenly support each other heavily. Because if you look at any of those photos, and I've seen a couple because you just come across them online on Facebook, Instagram, and everything else, when they just had the Pride Parade here in New York, tri-state, probably, I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago. Most of the people out there waving flags were black women. Most of the women I seen pictures after picture after picture. And I'm like, yo, black women walking with flags, black women screaming. On the video clips, you would see a whole group. They talk about they came from here, they came from there, they came from here. I said, oh shit, this shit is national. So what rights are you asserting exactly? And it seems like to most people, you're trying to assert a dictatorship. Do you know how fucking neurotic you have to be to start a petition? You only got 15,000 motherfuckers here, and you're talking about, let's get rid of Kevin Samuels. I don't like what he say, girl. But we gonna get on here on this one with all the nasty shit these chicks say about men online. That's why I said I don't like that little naked night chick. I don't like a lot of these bras that be online, but never have I took the attention for 5 seconds and said, hey, you know what, let's shut these chicks fully the fuck up and start a petition. And maybe that's what the fuck we need to do. Maybe that's what the fuck we need to do. Maybe we need to fight fire with fire. Hey, you want to shut down some shit? We'll shut down some shit too. We can go full war on war if you want to for that fraction of females. And I guarantee you're going to lose. I guarantee you're going to lose. It's just like James Brown said, this is a man's world. Huh. But it wouldn't be nothing. Wouldn't be nothing without a woman. So you need it, baby girl. But you ain't going to rule over me. And the rest of society would always see it that way too. It's not normal, okay? If you want Wonder Woman in the Amazons, go buy your own little island out in the Polynesian. Go buy your own little island out of Dubai. Y'all talk about y'all got so much fucking money, but most of the time, if you're like most of us, you're in debt from college loans. Black women are some of the highest in debt in college loans. Talking about they make. I just saw an article the other night on MSNBC. Excuse me, not an article. And damn it, I ain't see all these damn, look at this, y'all. I just saw an article on MSNBC. I swear to God, I ain't see all these guys behind me. I just saw an article on MSNBC and they were talking about how black women were, and millennials, both alike, were the highest in debt, but making the most money. So how you making 6 figures, but you owe 85,000. So a lot of you women are in debt. Listen, fellas, from now on, when you start dating a chick, I don't give a fuck what color you are. When you start dating a chick, ask that chick 3 questions. Get 3 demonstrations of these 3 things. Let me say it better like this. 1, let me hear you read out loud. This is very fucking important. 2, what is your belief system? 3, most importantly, have you ever pictured yourself as somebody's wife? And based off those answers she gives you, and I'm gonna throw in a 4th one, what the fuck is your credit score currently? How much are you owe in debt? Because you gotta realize you marrying and dating this chick. Oh, it's a hard road to learn. It's a thin line between a Toyota and a Porsche. It's a thin line between an apartment and a 5-bedroom house. It's a thin line between a boat and a jet ski, nigga. You better wake up. So in ending, I say this, right? And I'm gonna leave this alone because it's not really worth all my energy like that. And I think all y'all that tuned in or whatever, y'all please hit those like buttons if you like what I had to say. Also, it's Cash App Stringerbell 80. That's $STRINGERBELL 80. This on fraction warring between the genders within the black culture has to stop. If it doesn't, what's going to happen is you're going to destroy yourself from the need of non-procreation. Non-procreation, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, is actually the formula that's being used basically socially, and it's being induced by women because women have the advantage of men. See, a woman can walk out the house and she could just bend over with no panties on, no offense, ladies, and somebody's going to stop. Men can't do that, so they do have certain powers that we don't have. And we damn sure got way more powers than you don't have. This is what it is. Now, that's not taking away or degrading women or putting them at a plateau. What I'm saying is we have to stop living outside of reality, because if there was really any population control going on, the population control is like this. Now, Kevin Samuels said something that I had already reiterated, that black women and white women have the least amount of births for the year of not only 2020, but also 2019. a decrease in births. And you can look these numbers up at the CDC. I do not make these things up. These are not my own skewed opinions. Go to the CDC, look it up for yourself. Black and white births particularly. Those are the two, as far as I'm concerned, and I think most will agree, because I come from the entertainment industry. Even though you'd be worried about other demographics, like, there's a French demographic, there's a Spanish demographic, there's a Brazilian demographic. There's many different demographics within the music industry. You'll see different subsidiary companies in these regions producing albums from these regional artists or statewide artists or whatever. In the same collection, you have people all around the world that are black that are kind of falling into the same diatribe right now of, ladies, it's all about us. We can rule the world and da-da-da. You don't have any men guarding you. You're not worried. You're not very, see, this is the thing, you're not very strategic. You don't have any men. You're counting on, I guess, men of other cultures to defend you because you hold them in hierarchy over your own men. So based on the terrible environments that a lot of these girls grew up in, which they don't never reflect back and look and be like, well, could it be my background? Because I hang with Susie now. And Susie didn't grow up like I did in the projects. Susie didn't grow. I hang out with Susie now, but Susie's mama and daddy wasn't arguing and fighting, at least not like my mama and daddy was. Susie's mama didn't have to take her daddy to court for motherfucking child support, So there's a difference between these people you're trying to pretend to be and how they grew up and they lived. And the reason I know, because I grew up and lived around, I made no drives about that. I grew up around Italians and Greeks. You know what I'm saying? But I also grew up in a household with a mother who was into the movement. She was into, not the feminist movement, but the black movement. You know what I mean? Real deep. I'm gonna have the afro and everything like that. That's why my father liked her. So women, even if you look at them phenotypically, they've changed in their looks. And a lot of things that y'all advocate for, y'all do the total opposite. Why ain't y'all advocating and got a petition out against bitches doing motherfucking illegal butt shots and killing young black girls in hotel rooms? I tell y'all about my homegirl, Pebbles Abadi. She's still in jail for blotched butt injections. You know what I'm saying? She didn't do it, but she had facilitated the shit, and so they got in a conspiracy. How can you not advocate for that? How can you not advocate for less girls to be online naked? Why don't you start a petition for that? Start a movement for that. How come you're not advocating for many other things that you should be advocating for, but yet and still your center and motherfucking lateral notion and eyes are right now on Kevin Samuels instead? And Kevin Samuels is not promoting. Most of the girls that come on Kevin Samuels' channel to give them the accolade, most of those girls are intelligent. And the reason I say that is because when they come on and they speak in a tone of, hey, I got my degree, or I make this amount of money. So therefore you wouldn't be living in the hood where you would be most subjected to getting sexually assaulted. Most sexual assaults happen in the hood or in degraded areas. Now, sexual assault amongst spouses happens in the suburbs, or family members, which would most tones would be called molestation. Those happen in rural areas. But the bulk of sexual assaults, that's what you put, sexual assaults, which would even in a layman's term in law would be differentiated from what is suggested. So let's get that clear before you even go into that. And there's a couple of motherfucking statutes within the law that will say exactly what I'm talking about. It's no different than getting charged with murder versus assault versus premeditated manslaughter. You said sexual assault. So this means that women are getting raped, fondled, or assaulted physically on top of getting raped sexually, or in an attempt to take something from them sexually. You can grab up a woman in society real hard, throw her on the ground, and if your intent at any moment was to pull her clothes off of her, that turns from a sexual assault, it turns physical assault into a sexual assault. So I want to underline what she said about Kevin Samuels when she said sexual assault. The bulk of these sexual assaults are happening in degraded neighborhoods and areas. They're not happening in that degree in the suburbs. When they're happening in the suburbs, they're usually happening for somebody new, a kidnapping, child molestation, things of that matter from a family member. These are the demographics. Again, go to CDC, look them up for yourself. They'll reiterate the same fucking thing, all right? So most of these girls that come on Kevin Samuels' channel don't live in the hood. They live in good areas. If you make $80,000 a year, like most of these girls claim, or $60,000 or how much, and I think a lot of the girls sometimes lie, but we'll say for the contention of a better sake, right? They do make that much. Would you be living in the high rises and the projects? I saw, if y'all, many of y'all remember here in the New York City area, there was a girl that was in the store in Harlem, and she got assaulted by, I think it was 6 or 7 men. All right, 6 or 7 men. All them motherfuckers had their pants hanging down. I mean, you could just look at them and tell they was going to be a problem. If I would have walked in the store, I look at certain motherfuckers like you might be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Let me keep my eye on you. This is the way you gaze, the way you looking, the way you moving. You might be a problem potential. You know what I'm saying? So I look at that, and then I turn around and I'll be like, okay, how in the hell does this woman really, honestly and truthfully, or any woman honestly and truthfully, think we would believe for 5 seconds if you that articulate, that monetarily and coofed? Why would we think that? It doesn't make sense. Do I believe women are getting killed and murdered? Yes, and they're happening in the hood. Look up the demographics in Chicago and see how many men down there currently, or anybody that lives in Atlanta especially, or anybody that lives in Texas especially, or anybody that lives in Florida especially. Ask them how many men are killing women, and ask them how many women are killing men. You might be surprised. If you dig deeper into the fucking, see, this is a lot of this is lack of, some people will be intelligent and some people will be intellectual. Intelligence means that you have a segue to get to where the actual bulk of the information is. Intellectual is you're at where the bulk of the information is, or you know the segues to ascertain it quickly. I like to find myself on the intellectual part of things because I find things quickly. Sometimes I only even have to do a scope over it. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. And I'm usually right. Not to toot my own horn. Slaves are not being assaulted because, ooh, shit, I got a big ass bug on me. Excuse me, y'all. These women are not being assaulted, in my opinion, because of anything that has to do with society and Kevin Samuels. A lot of these women are being assaulted. Like this one case I saw with this one guy, and this was in Atlanta, and his case is wrapped up. And I want to tell y'all about this because I've talked about it before. And I'm going to put up the clip. The case itself went on for almost 2 years. And there was this man, and his last name is Charles, so I'm going to say like that. I'm not going to give him no shine on my page. But his last name is Charles. I can look up the story. And this man killed his girlfriend, killed his daughter, and attempted to kill his son by shooting his son, too, as well. Okay? Cold-blooded, fascist style, popped him in the head, killed him. All right? This motherfucker actually had the audacity to go to court and be his own lawyer, put his own son on trial via camera, and asked his son, do you know who shot you? You remember who shot you? This was somebody, hold on. This was somebody this woman had been with for years. And she ain't never get away from this motherfucker. She ain't never call up one of her uncles. She ain't never call up a granddaddy, bring pistol over. She ain't call up none of her, she ain't had nobody to call to the point that she got killed. But she had been dealing with this motherfucker. See, a lot of these girls out here, they call themselves these new wave feminists, got side babies. That's the point I was trying to point out. A lot of these girls got side babies, meaning they ain't with the father no more. It was some, we fucked around and met at the club, at the bar. You know what I'm saying? Your ass was shaking at the beach one day. You know what I'm saying? You was looking real good at the mall one day, whatever. So I done fucked around and met you. We didn't fuck around for about 2 or 3 months, and then at one time, boom, oh shit. I don't want this little ass motherfucker. Well, I don't believe in abortion, so I'm having it. Now you back here on the market, you know what I'm saying? And now any guy that gets involved with you got to take care of a side baby. Now I'm saying sometimes that shit is natural and it happen like that, and I don't speak against that. But it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? But for some guys it works out and that's their style. They got a good heart, and I respect that because these kids, they do need, especially if it's a positive influence around them. I don't say a stepdaddy and the stepdaddy sell drugs or whatever. You just got a man there that got bad morals at that point, and that's another one that comes into play too. Because I've actually seen women throughout my lifetime, whether it be in the hood, whether it be in the suburbs, wherever, that actually have the side baby, and you can look at the side baby as a man and be like, this little motherfucker go get into it, or she should have checked that right then, or why she get mad at me for checking that? And you know it as a guy, right? You like, I know what this leads to because I'm a man. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like, you know when a girl get her first menstrual cycle, I don't know when to peep that as a woman. There's no differentiation. I cannot be no more of a woman than you can be no more of a man. That's the point I'm getting at. I can be no more of a woman than you can be a man. I can be no more of a woman than you can be a man. I don't know when a woman getting ready to go into a cycle. I don't know when a woman might have to go to OBGYN. I don't know what a woman might have. You know what I'm saying? I don't even understand the logic for with the difference of wiping from back to forth to back until a couple of years ago. But I was, you know what I'm saying? Because naturally, guys, you know how we do. It's a lot of shit I don't know about women, and it's even more shit that these modern day women don't know about men because they don't have any focus on men. They only have focus on their narcissism and themselves and their vanity. And their vanity and their narcissism and all these things into play go into the form of their advocacies. And now their online petitions and their anger about things that are obvious. These girls that are going online, ladies, I'll tell you the same fucking thing. I've been all around this country of ours, drinking, smoking, partying, and all kinds of shit with my job. All right? My job was to party. Basically, I worked for a record company. And in those 17 years, in all the cities I went to, you knew from the motherfucking jump who was who or who you was going to be looking for later on. Now, you might have been a badass chick with a nice-ass body or whatever, but you served a purpose for that night. We taking you down, and don't you ever come back around here again. Here's what it is. Now, a couple side babies came out of these majorities, too. Then there's other women we meet, and we're like, that one right there, though, she different. That one right there, though, that's my wife. That one right there, I see how she react with other kids. That means she would treat my kids like that. Watch how a chick treat her nephew and niece and all them or whatever. Watch how she is around kids if you ain't got no kids with her yet. You'll get a clear indication of how she's gonna be with your kids and how attentive or non-attentive she'll be also. Take this from a guy that never had none. Or I watch a chick like glue. I see through the seam of a motherfucker, as my sister would say. I see through the seam of a nigga. Guys, there has to be some practicality here, and there has to be some accountability. These statements that this woman made, and I'm not gonna put up the petition because I don't believe it. Kevin Samuels, if you see this, I don't believe the petition anything either. Nigga, donate to me, nigga. It's Cash App $STRINGERBELL80. Shit. I'm trying to come back up. I'm just getting out of homelessness, B. For real. Everybody knows this on my channel. Look at my history, you'll see. But shout out to you, man, for more importantly, not speaking about this. It's like I told Toxic Diamond, don't speak about the shit. Just leave it be. And he shouldn't either. Go talk to your lawyers. Go talk to a lawyer. Don't try to get it taken down. Let them keep it up. See whose names are there. Because they leave their names there. If you already noticed that in the screenshot. They leave their names there. And you go through that whole list and see every name that motherfucking signed it. Their real names. Not Scooterbug 881 like their avatar names here on YouTube, or Bad Boy Section 8 somebody wrote about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that shit right there. No. I'm talking about their real government names where you can look their asses up and see who the fuck they are and be like, okay, let's see if you like the situation with Tasha K. You claiming morality, you claiming faux beliefs, but are you really about that? And when you'll see, and you look at a lot of these people, especially the ones that are most wicked, if you look at a lot of their pages, if you look at a lot of their diatribe, their past history, you will find a whole bunch of fucking inconsistencies. You will find inconsistencies that don't even go in contestants with feminism. You're online talking about another black woman. You made videos trying to degrade and take down other black women's channels. So how the fuck are you a feminist? You ain't standing together with the Klan. I don't understand. I'm befuddled. I am befuddled. Let's see what y'all writing in here. Ooh. I want to read back some of these questions. This is from Being True Love. I wonder if they're still here. I hope they are. If they are, say something. my comments, they don't pop up on screen like that, so y'all gotta excuse me. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna read everybody's comments. We're not gonna leave before we read the comments. First of all, I want to say hi, Star Pepper. Hi, S2647. I was just saying some shit like that too, right? You ain't never said nothing bad to me though. Hey, Tony43, brand new Dave. Thank you very much for the compliment too. This is what I began with being true love. Ask a question. Angel B. Hey, Angel, how you doing? Being that what draw the law of feminists. Okay. Would you equivocate the way men of culture speak to women as a gain favor from white men for also speak against women? No, I wouldn't. In fact, I will say this. She asked me, and I'll say that again. Would you equivalate, she was trying to write equivalate, the way men of the culture speak of women as a way to gain favor from white men who also speak against women? There are the segment of men that do that. I will speak on that real quick because I said about the women. Yes, there are some men like that. In fact, these same men will try to take down black men as well. They all do it for tier approval. What I mean by tier approval, meaning they'll do some show-off action at your job or in society or whatever in hopes to pivot them into another point of existence in society or get them a step up in their job that may most times be menial, you know. So this is somebody that's on fries trying to make their way to the cash register. So yeah, even in that equivalent of that analogy right there, yes, I do believe that. I very much believe that. I do believe there are some men out here that are like that. But I don't think Kevin Samuels is one of them. So women can only assert their rights without being called feminists if they say certain words. Sweetheart, I'll acquire you once again, and I don't do challenges, but I equate you once again, and I stand very adamantly by my motherfucking statement, so you'll never punk me out of nothing either. All right, let's get that straight right now. I'm a shooter, I'm a fighter, I'll do all that shit with you. All right, so let's keep it calm here. What I'm saying to you is there's language in everything, all right? If you signed any agreement you've ever worked, do you not read over that contract before you sign it? If you sign over to take a car lease, do you not read over that sign before you see it? Before you have taken sides with any type of advocacy here in the United States of goddamn America, have you not looked over it and first saying what it was about and what they were actually advocating? If you have not, then I challenge your intelligence as an individual. Not you personally, but in general. You have a point. The black women are creating petitions for white men. Yeah, why are they playing it for them? Facts, I've noticed word changing going on. There's a lot of word, it's all in the word changing. And most people that contest to it, they're usually involved in it. If it's women that want to argue about it or males that want to argue about it, that's because they're trying to hide the fact that they're involved in it. It seems like women are discarded as feminists immediately if they make any assertion about women's rights. No, they're not. But being the fact that you're superseded in voice and in advocacy online by toxic feminists, yes, that's where it's perceived as. And you should be, instead of pointing that out, you should be actually paying attention to that, I would think. Think of race. If anything man stated about race and gender are two different things. Race and gender are two different things. I'm not even going to read that comment. And the point, let me tell you something. When somebody starts out a conversation, I'm going to tell y'all this, y'all know this about me. If somebody starts out a conversation and they say, think of it like, or think of this, or don't you think, at the end, I can live with. But if you started out, I meant versus, don't you think, versus think of, what you're doing is you're inserting a theory that comes off your own personal rhetoric, not something that can be validated. So therefore, I don't deal with that. Are you saying that everything she writes is a challenge? Are you saying that black women should not advocate for women's rights, but advocate exclusively for black rights only? Exactly is what the fuck I'm saying. Or you're gonna be alone in your fight in the end. Because if you're only fighting for women's rights, the way men think of, we're not gonna sit around and worship you like they once did in what period was that? When they had the worship of women. That's what a lot of these women in the diatribe of feminism is coming from. It's coming from a one-time period in our world's history where we had the worshiping of women amongst the Greeks. And the Relation period, I also believe, was kind of condensed of that as well. Do black men benefit? Okay, this is your last one I'm going to read because now you're getting silly. Do black men, do they sacrifice black women through slander? See, you're trying to do one tit for tat. If two criminals get caught at a bank robbery, right? Both get charged. Both get arrested. Both get to jail. They go to separate jail cells, but they're within the same jail. So does that mean that you are in a different part of the jail than I am, so therefore you had a hierarchy? That doesn't make sense. Or was August Morgan a black man who initiated the simulation by creating a relaxer perm? A simulation began with Mammy and Stephen on a plantation. That's the biggest form of a simulation you could ever have. If any of y'all ever seen Django Unchained, do y'all remember that one moment? I'll show you a simulation. Y'all remember that one moment? See, a simulation brings power to some. So when you saw Django Unchained, you saw Stephen and Cora. Cora was in the kitchen. Now, y'all hurry up now. They drinking the good stuff now. I need you to go down in the basement. Oh, shit. I'll let Cora and them go at the end. I'm Django. Y'all run along now. Hell get it. Anyway, I shot everybody white now. And one nigga. Stephen was the epitome of the simulation. See, Stephen's kissing ass over and over and over and over and over and over, and the depiction of Stephen as a character in the movie set example for when it came before Stephen. See, Stephen, you have to remember, was 70-something plus years old. Stephen wasn't 25. So Stephen had been doing this 20 years, which is also added in the diatribe and the script within the movie. I quote, Jamie Foxx, Django's character, said, "You've been around here a lot of years. I bet you've seen a whole bunch of people get hurt, shot, and all kinds of other shit. You ain't do nothing about it." In fact, this man had been from plantation to plantation with the same ass-kissing technique. The same ass-kissing technique you see right now in the current workplace. You see the same ass-kissing in the current workplace by blacks, and they would do it to eliminate other blacks. Latinos would do it to eliminate other Latinos. In the common workplace. Common workplace. I'm not talking about my work environments. I'm talking about the common workplace. The common 9 to 5. Not the office. And the office is worse. In the office, it can go out of the office. It can go out of the office. See, most people have blue-collar jobs. They can't stand you, but they'll hang with you and have a beer with you. So if you want to talk about the differentiation of men attacking women or women attacking men more, you go right no further back than the 500 years plus of slavery they had in. It's always been a kiss ass. It's always been a kiss ass that does something for gain. I've never signed a petition to take a black woman's channel down neither. I love as much as possible. And what is this? It was August Morgan, a black man, initiated. Yeah, you know, and like I said, you're talking about a simulation through hair. Simulation begins with your ideologies and your meanings and your thoughts and where you attend to. You understand what I'm saying? You could have I've seen niggas that got straight hair. Snoop Dogg had straight hair. You understand what I'm saying? Snoop was up for murder and had straight hair in court. What are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? If you define hair, that's what I mean. The emphasis on hair by black women is just, not all black women, but a segment of black women. If you say that, you say the assimilation of a perm. What was Madam C.J. Walker with the straightening comb? You missed that. You left that out. For every tick, there's a tack. She mentioned August Morgan, but didn't mention Madam C.J. Walker, who invented the straightening comb and made millions of dollars off of it. Shout out to her. That was part of a simulation. They wanted to get their hair like white women. What you talking about, baby? We all play a part. It's your mentality. That's the problem. Django Unchained was a great movie. I'll never seen it being sold at Walmart, ironically. You never will. You never will. You never will. And a half Latino and half white man made the movie. And you never will. There's a lot of reasons behind that, and I'll get into that another time. No more than you'll see 12 Years as a Slave in heavy popularity at these little chain places, either like Walmart and a couple of other ones, Kmart, a couple. You won't see it. You won't see it. You won't see it. No, you got to go to a dealer for that. Most of it comes from a lot of distributors don't like doing deals with Walmarts and places like that because they call upon a lot of censorship and re-editing. of the footage. A lot of times, because these are family-oriented businesses per se, a lot of times I'm just giving him the reason why this, because that deserves an answer. If y'all busy, it's $ Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. But to answer that question, a lot of these times, Stringer Bell 80, a lot of these times you don't see that is because the distributor of the movie itself knows it's an R-rated movie. Django Unchained was an R-rated movie. So hold on, I answer your question. So what happened is the company themselves, the music companies, the movie companies or the movie distributors, kind of like what the Weinsteins were. If you're talking about Harvey Weinstein, him and his brother, they ran a movie production company. Basically, they would put movies in the movie theaters. So when you see companies like that and they back down or whatever from dealing with a Walmart or a Kmart or whatever, because it's one, they know that the material that they have, the vehicle that they have to offer, one, it's controversial already. Two, it's not family friendly. So most of the time, they're not going to get a high percentage rate of sales, they believe, at those locations. That's another reason. There's a lot of things to go into, and I'll get more into that in a minute. But I want to go back more into Kevin Samuels and everything like that. And I say that from my experience in media. Like I said, I was there when Revolt TV was an idea in that office. You know what I mean? That's a fact. Anybody argue that, they're lying. Y'all please hit those like buttons if y'all could. I'm going to keep going a little bit because I just want to talk about one other thing, but I want to read what this other person wrote off because that's fair. No, it was no tit for tat. It kind of sounded like tit for tat because you asked question after question. So you mean, see, when somebody says you got to, black women, I want y'all to learn, y'all, a lot of y'all are intelligent, but for some reason or another, a lot of y'all have never come to the contention that you need to learn this one word, okay? Actually, it's three of them, so I'll give you all three. Observation, assertion, as you mentioned, and then the third, you take care too. I was gonna answer your question actually, but if you must go, you must go. That's someone you cannot have a conversation with evidently because they don't adhere to where you want to go to automatically. This is my channel. I talk about what I want to, and I've been more gracious enough to read out, I think it was 7 of your questions for my whole audience. I interrupted my show to read out your questions. You're like, take care. Take care. This is how they do a Kevin Samuels show as well. These are the same women that want him removed. When he's answering the question, and you decide to go otherwise. So you've let me know that there's no rationing out with you, and my words you don't agree with, so therefore you must cut me off. But you will sit in the same room with a white boss, or you will sit in the same room with a white doctor, or you will sit in the same room with a white dentist, and you will listen to everything they have to say and have no argument. So anyway, moving on. I have chose to take my position that I took with Kevin Samuels because of many reasons. One of the reasons being this, because I see the bullshit that's going on. You just witnessed to this right now with that little 10-minute right there. That lady did that, and I didn't know way. I thought you said you was going. You said take care, bye, bye, bye. You said take care. Nah, once you dismiss me, you don't get to come back. I don't do that. You dismiss me, that shows me you have no respect for me nor anything that I'm saying. And the only thing it will do is further engagement with you, would just lead to more and more of an argument, which you want to see me explode, embarrass myself in front of my audience, or think that you got the upper hand, and now have everybody come to your channel instead. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Is that what you mean? You part of one of them Kevin Samuels petitioners, Cass? I got you. I got you. You like to destroy men of color too, right? You go write a petition to get my channel moved too. He over there talking bad about women. I'm telling you what you don't want to hear. And I can't see you. We can't see a picture of you to even judge what you look like because you wasn't even gracious enough to put your picture in your avatar, which is the first thing I always look for. So there's two types of people online. There's people that don't know how to put the picture in the avatar because they don't have YouTube Studio or whatever. And then there's other people that do it intentionally just to make fake accounts and be funny. I decided to go other ways once you said, shoot, curse me out. She said I cussed out now, guys. Should have said, did y'all hear me cuss out? You see what I mean? Like, this is the behavior. We're not going to interrupt this. And in about 2 seconds, I'm going to block it. Observation, assertion, and the final thing for me, I would say, is perception. You have to know how you're perceived. You understand? You have to understand the things that you're saying and how they're perceived and how they're looked about by general in society. And if you don't look at it from that degree, then you're going to run into a lot of problems. See, perception spearheads a lot of society's realms and forms every day. But one thing that perception does is it creates a narrative of what the person's perception is of you, and whether it's right or wrong, on point or off point. It is now the perception that they have of you. And they will carry it on. So if you're looked as a rabble rouser, if you're looked as a troublemaker, if you're looked as argumentative, or any of these attributes, people start to now home in on those behaviors. Now stay with me. Once they home in on those behaviors, what they do after that is they start transgressing themselves internally and mentally. Now what I mean by that is this. A lot of times you will see women go on Kevin Samuels and other people's shows, and they will make a complete fool of themselves. And they will always say this thing, I don't care. Well, the way I see it, always look for that phrase. The way I see it, that means it's a theory. That's what you in your own personal dimension, that's what you think of life. The way I see it, and if you're less, if you're one of those that are less traveled, I even doubt any quotation that you have anymore, because I've been around the country 10 times over. All right? I've been everywhere with that boy, and then stayed in the best hotels, all that shit. Stayed in the same places they stayed at most of the time. So I'm gonna tell you this. You ain't gonna pull that wool over my eye. I know a motherfucker that ain't never been nowhere before. I can smell them like a motherfucking rose. I always thought they got a certain way of talking. That's my perception of them. You know what I'm saying? Perception comes with attributes. And once you start seeing certain attributes of people, whatever, you start to garner perception of people that are like that. And that's the part I'm getting at. The part I'm getting at is a lot of black women, because of their engagements online or whatever, the perception of them has been superheated by actual women that are making progress and actual good women. And some of these good women, I can't understand for no mistake of measure why you would want to go deal. You don't want to deal with men socially, economically that are below you, but you want to deal with women that are socially, economically below you. And whether it be platonically or sexually or romantically, it happens. You know how many times I've seen a badass chick in Manhattan or Miami and she a straight up lesbian, and then when you see who her lesbian girlfriend is, it's a licking that. Don't ever come back around. You got a letter from an OGBNY. You know what I'm saying? I need a certified letter. I need him signed it. I don't need a copy of it. I need the original document to tell me you ain't got nothing. Perception is a motherfucker. Perception has men thinking that they're under attack here in America. And that's how a lot of men think. And I would say specifically white men. I've seen diatribes on TV now where white men just cut off a chick, and she's first thing she says is feminism. Or women, and this is the key phrase when I was talking about language. You'll hear this over and over reiterated. Whenever a woman is talking about women, she always say, well, you know, especially women, they'll always find some way to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why are you? And now news reporters, news guests, interviewers, they are all looking at this shit and saying the same thing. Why you ask everything about women? Like, you're dying out or some shit like that. So let me put that to bed. There are more women. For every man in America, first of all, women outnumber men, all right? So women ain't going no fucking where as far as projectionally in the numbers. Not at least right now anyway. For every one guy, there's at least 4 to 5 women, depending on what city you live in, available for you that is single or with child and a single parent. 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 4 ratio. Women are not going any fucking way. In fact, worldwide, these numbers are skewed. Not here in the United States, but worldwide. There's going to be some goofy to come out the woodwork. Bitch. Yeah, it is. So now you got to look at it. You got to say to yourself, if that's the case, and sexual assaults of black men are at, I think, something like it's like a 5% margin. The bulk of sexual assaults are done by white men. That's 62% of the population, for one. I'll say it again, the bulk of sexual assaults are done by white men in this country. Look up the demographics for yourself. So if the bulk of sexual assaults in this country are done by white men, how the fuck are you trying to take a black man off the channel and a black man, that the black man actually influenced further persecution and further assault sexually, specifically sexually, of women? I am lost. Oh God, she should have played the victim role. Go back and listen to what you said to me. You was mean. A few basics sharing my thoughts. I wish you love and peace. I take no interest in putting you down to argue. This is my last response to you. Chick, you wrote now 10 different, I don't even think you understand what you were doing. All right, so I'm gonna give you a real, I'm talking to this woman, being true love, because I think you got some being true hate in your heart too as well. Sweetheart, you wrote 5, this is what I'm talking about, perception. You wrote 5 different comments that challenged me. So you mean if a man, so you mean, once you start that so you mean shit, that lets me know that you're from a certain neighborhood, for starters. 2, when you start that so you mean, that means you're challenging me. You understand what I'm saying? You're not a man, so you don't understand the dynamic of this, but when you challenge a man, get ready for anything. You better be ready to fight. If you one of them loudmouth ass chicks that like to walk around and pop up in people's face, you better get ready, because one of these days your jaw might just get broke. That's what I mean. So you fucking around with me, and I don't hit women, but if you try to attack me, I will put you down. However so be. My mama taught me when I was growing up, and my father, somebody put their hands on you or scratch your face, take them the fuck out. How about y'all? Because mine did. Mine did. Better not let nobody touch your motherfucking face. Chick or otherwise. I got 3 scars in my back right now from where a chick stabbed me up, and I didn't put my hands on her. When I look back at it, I should have rammed that head into a fucking mirror. She tried to take my life out. She hit me right here in my jugular. I'll show that to y'all one day. Part of my story too here on YouTube. And I still don't hate black women. That's something to go through. Y'all don't know nothing about that, huh? Hold on, let me show y'all. I'll show y'all. Because then later on they'll be like, he ain't telling the truth. You don't believe me? Hold on, I'll show you. I'll show you right now. Hold on, let me just pull this down. Run the camera over here. Y'all see those 3 scars right there on my back? That one is deep right there. Those all while I was stabbed by a female. And she was cheating on me. And got arrested. That's another story. It's been 7 years with that woman. Is it time for a block party? I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. It's time for something, because people have been sitting in the house. I'm glad you brought that up. People have been sitting in the house to see what needs to happen in the culture right now is we need to start highlighting R&B music again. Highlight some good R&B though. It's like some motherfuckers really thinking about some love shit, and that should be the tone. And once men and women start fucking again and getting some inspiration, because that's what it was. If you look at the period of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, a lot of babies out here, including a lot of these motherfuckers that jump online every day and got their own vlog podcast, were made in the course of listening to R. Kelly, I hate to say his name, and Mary J. Blige, and I don't give a fuck what you say. A lot of these babies out here, it was made from that 12 Play album, right? A lot of these babies out here was made from guys, Let's Chill. A lot of these babies out here was made by Beauty by Drew Hill. A lot of these babies out here was made by listening to this and that other artist, whoever it may be. You understand? So let's keep it real. And this generation before that, there's a lot of motherfuckers came because of the Isley Brothers. There's a lot of motherfuckers that's here because of, you know, whatever artists, you know? So music has always played its part in conditioning the culture, especially black culture. If you go all the way back to Superfly, any of these other people, you know what I'm saying? Music has always played a part. And like I said, I live where the money reside. Y'all look at that bad boy going over the bridge right there. Hold on, y'all gonna see it. Look at that going across the bridge right there. Hold on, it's gonna come out in a minute. That shit is mean right there. Y'all probably can't see it anymore, But that was actually what's the name? Ferrari. I forgot what you call those joints, but it's the new Ferraris. Um, Music has always played its part, and music needs to play its part again. A lot of this arguing and bickering that you have is because of lonely motherfuckers, and they lonely and they mad. Men and women, we're lonely and we're mad. And the quicker motherfuckers come out and say, yo, you know what? The real deal about it is I'm lonely and I'm mad. Ladies, walk up to a man. There's a lot of men out there. You know what I'm saying? Walk up to a man that you like and be like, hey, you know what? What? You want to fuck? See how much love coming in. That's the shootout to stop. Y'all the key to stopping the violence in the United States right now. It ain't a lack of women are screwed. No, you can get a call girl anytime. It's a lack of love within that screw. The degradation of sex also comes to the part, I believe, of feminism. There's no palette put or rules put on love, relationship, a long-standing relationship. Everything is about instant gratification. Instant gratification via OnlyFans, instant gratification via all kinds of other outlets that are out there and available to you. And there's a hint and a reason to ponder for you. Why do you think in the past 7 to 8 years you've seen women more attacked than any time in this period in a long time? It's because the reserve and the respect for women has dwindled. And a lot of it's been their own fault. A lot of it's been their own fault. See, when I mentioned the thing about girls being on Instagram butt naked, girls competing with one another online, who got the best pose, but all the girls doing the same pose, there's all kinds of contention because they're paying so much to that, paying so much attention to that, everything, their vanity, that everything below that is now rendered small. It's rendered small. It doesn't make sense anymore. Why should I worry about a husband? Why should I worry about leaving a child here? Why should I worry about getting, you know what I'm saying, into a meaningful relationship when I got this money? You got money, okay. And if you never had none, that's a plus for you. It's not the same for all of us. I even get upset when some white people think that. I've been in situations where white people will swear up and down out for the kid. I'm like, motherfucker, I grew up with a golf course around our place. What the fuck are you talking about right now? I probably grew up better than you, which I find in most instances with a lot of white people. I will cluck their ass down if they try that racist shit with me. I'll be like, where'd you grow up? That's the first question I ask them. Where'd you grow up? Let's compare. Most of the time, you'll find a family that was struggling with lease after lease after lease, and daddy was 2 steps from blowing his motherfucking brains out in the garage a couple times, trying to take care of these ungrateful motherfuckers. R&B music would be the game changer. R&B music would bring so much love and passion back into people. That's why I was trying to use those examples of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s with Drew Hill and all those guys. I mean, I entered the music business in the 2000s. You know what I mean? I'm a product of the 2000s. So for me, you know what I'm saying? It's like my mom, the older people that was around us, they were listening to R. Kelly, they were listening to Drew Hill, they were listening to all these people, whatever. I'm a teen at this time. You know what I'm saying? Preteen mostly. And so the one thing I saw that stuck out more so than anything, oh my God, I got a call. Give me a second, guys. The one thing I saw stuck out more than anything was when these music started disappearing and they started coming in favor of other music, what I started seeing was that people started switching from that love to now a hate model. You know what I mean? I hate this. No new friends. Remember that song by Drake? Drake don't even know the impact that song had socially on the society. That song, No New Friends, was almost an echo from the devil. Be alone. Be in isolation. Become an introvert. Think of nobody but you. Become narcissistic. Nobody matters but you. You. Now, I spoke about loneliness a few minutes ago. Y'all motherfuckers don't know loneliness like I know loneliness. I had a friend And I want to tell you what I'm talking about when I say about toxic femininity. I want to give you an example for all you guys that are new here, because you probably don't know. I had somebody following me for almost close to 6 or 7 months. Kept on talking and talking to me or whatever the case may be or whatever. And I started seeing something funny about it because it was inconsistent in the statements. I always look for consistency. I learned that from working at Bad Boy and most importantly from Puff. Always look for consistency in somebody's voice. That much that motherfucker did teach us. Now, among other things too, so we ain't gonna shit on Puff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got my personal shit with him sometimes. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? Nigga did a good damn job teaching us some things. But I'll still stick to contention. Excuse me, guys. I'm just turning this around because that was so uncomfortable. Thank you. I would still stick to contention that, you know, they were learning as they were going. You know, they were on the job site learning. So how could you teach us too much, you know? That's my own qualm. But we'll get into that another time. I wanted to talk about this real quick before I head up on out of here. My hand is swollen up right now. This woman, and many of y'all know who she is, sent me an email under the moniker Bad Boy Section 8. She made up an email that said Bad Boy Section 8. And she sent this, I believe it was on the 17th. And I'm going to put it up for you guys. I am going to put it up. I think it's funny. And I want you guys to take a look at it. And this is a woman doing this. This is a woman. So like I said, somebody put, why not? Well, your message got retracted. So you must have wrote some dumb shit. So let's get you up out of here. Hide this user from the channel. It's probably her. They're trying to write something else. View deleted message. I'm going to show y'all in a minute. So let me take a screenshot of that. So I can go check them out later. Anyway, dumb motherfuckers. Y'all play the game that way. Y'all must think I'm a dumb motherfucker. I'm not dumb. So this woman started sending me emails. She just sent me a recent email threatening again. But this is the same woman talking about, I'm going to report you because you giving out you taking donations, da 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 da. This is the same woman that said she was going to donate to me for 7-8 months. Never did. So I said, all right, cool. I didn't even respond. I made a video about the brawl, which would be the last one after this one. After this one, I just want to put up and let you guys see the extremes. But she claimed all this stuff at the beginning. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Star. She started this whole other bullshit at the beginning. This diatribe. I just got out of college and I work for social services and this is the way you're acting. Yeah, she sent me another email. So I'm gonna have to change the email. I'm only gonna give it to specific people. So some people, including like my homegirl Annette and a couple other people, y'all just pardon me because I was just like, that shit just throws me off and it just makes me not want to talk to nobody. Because I'm like, damn man, do I gotta watch everybody I talk to now? You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel like that, but I felt like that before in the music industry, so it's nothing. And then I got another particular couple of fellas that I'm leaving on here. I want them to stay. I want y'all to stay, so y'all make sure y'all press thumbs down on this one too, okay? I want them to stay because what happened was some people I knew once in my life have banded together because they want to see me off YouTube. You know what I mean? But these are some people I've helped before. This was just confusing. So that's a deep hatred right there. When you dedicate yourself to disliking my page every day, that's a deep hate. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Because the only thing you do is make people inquisitive. You're not getting the desired effects you want. Please continue. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Keep doing all that you're doing. You're making me popular. Because in your mind, you think, well, if somebody see 15 likes, they ain't gonna go to that page. No, motherfuckers are coming to the page to see why there's 15 dislikes or people's deaths. Or, you know what I mean? Like, what is wrong with you? I reported on somebody's death. I forgot who it was. I had 15 thumbs down on a black person's death. And some of these were women. Where's the feminism? You know? A lot of these things these women talk about go against feminism, man. The music right now, it needs to change. The music right now is producing a vibe that this is going to cause more separation. If you believe me, you don't believe me, that's on y'all. I don't know. But Kevin Samuels, keep your head up, man. Don't worry about this shit right here. This too shall pass. And get you a lawyer and file a civil lawsuit immediately against all 15,000 of the motherfuckers on that petition for slander, for one. They have equated you to sexual assault, which is sickening. Y'all please hit them like buttons too. I thought she was going too. She said she was going like 9 times. That's why I don't be arguing with bras, because I'm like, yo, bitch, send your address. I got a couple homegirls that come through with you. You know what I mean? Like, you block her from emailing you as well. You don't have to change your email. Sorry that happened to you. I will. Okay, I'm going to try to figure that out too. But yeah, I might just do that instead. But I'm just like, because what I'm thinking is, if I do that though, she'll just, because she's already got the email address, she'll just create another new email and do the same thing. You get what I'm saying? Just like a lot of people, they'll make new accounts and come back and do the same thing. So it's whatever. It just comes with the territory. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Kevin Samuels, keep your head up. Sue this motherfucker. Sue all 15,000 of them motherfuckers on there and hold them liable for actually participating. And in many cases, most of them leave a little note or something like that. What's this one right here? Don't block that Y9 person. He made a good comment about no similar to Drake. Oh, okay. I didn't see what he wrote. So let me unblock him then. Unhide this use. All right, he's straight. I just hit him. Sometimes I just don't know what people be doing. You know what I'm saying? So I just unhinged them right now. You know what I mean? Sorry about that, bro. When y'all see your message retracted, I've got message retraction on my comment section here on the live, on the chat, and as well on my what's today, because of the shit people used to put. Y'all just don't know. And the women, they were some of the most heinous comments. I've had women attack me. The person I'm talking about right now is a woman. Attack me, make videos about me, spread lies about me. I had one chick, and she came on and did a whole video. I got the video taken down, but she did a whole video. Shout out to my man for pointing that out to me too, because I never knew it was up. No problem. Sorry, why not? And so I was like, yo, this bitch did a whole video. I call her a bitch because that's what she was. She did a whole video about me. I wrote in the comments, I said, yo, take this shit down. You don't know what you're talking about. Have a one-on-one with me. Here's my email. She didn't want to do that. So the video stayed there for like 5 more days. It didn't get that many views. It only got like, I think it was like 1,200 or something like that. Just like the other one, the other 4 guys did that used to work with me, they put up. And that shit got no traction. I was like at 120,000 where they were just struggling to get to 400. You know what I mean? So, and shout out to them, whatever. But it's 2 particular ones over there that really, actually 3 of them that really don't like me. You know what I'm saying? That really don't like me. For whatever reason, I think the whole time, they just never cared for me anyway. And that's fine. I actually had love for them. But you find out sometimes people you got love for don't have love for you. You know? And that's what I found out with this YouTube world is special, you know? I've had 3 or 4 people come on here, and that's a hard thing to dealing with being Black and Latino. Sometimes you could think they're in white too, I guess. I guess that you would think people are your friends or whatever, and they really are. You're just there to serve a purpose, you know what I mean? You know, as much as I get on this mic and speak what I speak, and people be telling me in the comment section all the time, yo, you should be charging people for what you know, and you should be demanding more donations and everything like that. And I'm like, yeah, I should, but you know, most people, Black people, they don't want to donate to. They want to donate to where they can see the name on the super chat or whatever. Even though I always make a nice little comment and I'll throw you a whole post. Most motherfuckers, they like that livelihood of seeing themselves on the replay over and over how much they donated so they can brag or whatever. Me personally, I think it's better with me because I make a whole post if you donate to me. You know what I'm saying? I'll say, hey, thank you. This is what I bought. You know what I mean? I give you a receipt. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't do that. You know, a lot of people out here buying houses and shit with y'all donation money. You know what I'm saying? I'm an actual motherfucker that needs a house. So if you guys do want to donate, it's $STRINGERBELL80. Again, that's $ Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. I would appreciate anything and everything you can donate. I have day-to-day things I have to get done. I want to give a shout out to Divalicious for sending me some information about a job too, down in New York. I'm gonna tell you what, Divalicious, I'm gonna call them. I actually tried to do it this morning and they just had the whistle. So I'm gonna try to call them again and see what I can get through. But I did leave them. I am going to leave a message this time if I don't get through to them. But this morning they didn't have that. There's nobody answering. Just the prompt came up, so I'll give it a call again. But and if you work there, it's the 860 number. Okay, so anything 860, just look for it. That job pays $25 an hour. That's livable right there. But the thing is, you know what I'm saying? It puts me in cahoots. See, I can't make for so much, so I got to see how many hours they will want me there. That's the only thing. this little voucher program thing I got. You'd only work so many hours. Or, most of my money has to come from offline or other means, if y'all know what I mean, So the man don't get it. So if y'all against the man, please donate. You hate white folks as much as you say you do. Donate. It's going towards a good cause, trust me. Oh, Uncle Sam. Let me read what somebody wrote here. Those songs encourage a weird aggression between black men and women in relationships. It's all men, why not? There's I spoke about this the other day on my thing. I want to answer a couple questions. I see a couple of y'all wrote some things. I answered this the other day on my other cast, and I said this. Yeah, in musical theory, okay, and I'm sticking with there. But musical theory, there's certain notes and tones and hymns, even with your voice, that you can hit that can evoke a different type of emotion. And these emotions that are invoked, they can be good, they can be bad, they can be in the middle, they can be sad, they can be happy. You witness this with songs you've heard all your entire life. Well, the same thing happens with music. Now, I don't know how old you are, but I guarantee you, if you're anywhere over 22, 21, you remember a time in a period in this country when the music tone was totally different than what it is right now. I got to assure you of that. Now, if you're about 10 or 15, it's a throw and toss up in the air. But I would say even at 15, 13, 14, you remember when there was a different tone of music being played. So that music cycle that usually changed every 3 or 4 years, where it would be a new reiteration of that music. Like, it would go from, R. Kelly now to Drew Hill, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Whatever example you want to use. Instead of a reiteration, it was a whole new reformat, in my belief. And my belief is that format was what you now call trap music, and its granddaddies with Chief Keef and motherfucking Soulja Boy. Chief Keef, Soulja Boy, they put out a sound, the drill sound, for Chief Keef, and another kind of relaxed, what they would call the swag sound, from Soulja Boy. And those two sounds got combined together, and they're what you call modern day trap, in my opinion. Even if you take Lil Jon, East Side Boys, if you take, Jesus Christ, who was the other one? Bone Crusher, all those artists that did that type of music beforehand, they now got maculated into now what you call trap music. Even some of the stuff, the Titty Boy, who y'all know is, God, what does he call himself? 2 Chainz. Even that sound, all that sound got just mushed into one sound. And that sound now has resonated for the past 8 years. Different matriculations, different artists. Some of those artists have lived and died. Some of those artists, you know what I mean, have hit their peak, and then you don't see them anymore. I say not Soulja Boy, but Chief Keef is one of those examples. And even though he's still touring, still putting out material, you don't see him in the highlight that you used to. But these are the architects and the grandfathers of this type of particular music, in my opinion. I think many others' opinion too. Lil Wayne, he had a little sauce to throw in there, but Lil Wayne is actually a rapper. What I'm talking about is constructing easy songs, the quick placement of easy songs that melodically have a tone. You know what I mean? Even though the lyrics may be a little different, they may differentiate melodically, it's still the same tone. You know what I mean? And that tone in musical theory invokes violence. It invokes bad attitude. It invokes many of different emotions that many of y'all may not pay witness to or may even be able to pick up and comprehend, but it does. And the younger the mind is listening to this music, the more they can be shaped and reveled around this music. Now, it's just not just rap music and trap. Pop music falls into this category too, as it had been earlier with rock music. I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It had some introduction to being more open to lesbianism, if you ask me. That song was very popular by Katy Perry. Many other songs before that. My people would have said it was Marilyn Manson. Before that, it was Chuck Berry. Before that, it was this artist, that artist, this artist. Music has always been institutional in creating what's going on currently in society. It always will be. Music has suggested, like I said before, with Young Jeezy and My President is Black. If y'all remember that song, Jeezy made a ton off that song, but more importantly, it advocated for Barack Obama's presidency. Beyonce and Jay-Z did both inaugurations. So music has always played a part. Even if you go back to JFK, they said, yeah, he's going to win. Why? Because he looks good on TV. So media, music has always shaped the narrative for what's currently going on in culture. And that's why I said a return back to some type of music that has to revolve around love, interaction, intimacy. It has to be superheaded in society versus the common music that you hear right now with the trap and everybody, yo, kill this motherfucker. You talking about killing everybody in the neighborhood. So you mean I got to go out all day long, deal with this person, that person that may be racist, maybe biased, maybe this, maybe that. And then I got to come back to the neighborhood I live in and deal with you too? I got to deal with you too. And most of the time, the choices are, well, if I got to pick between the two, I know what the setback is if I go mess with the white man. That's what most people that are brown think. Anyway, even poor white trash know that. So you set on two bounds. You're like, okay, do I go deal with them and take my aggression out over here? Do I take my aggression out over here? And what happens is they end up taking their aggression out on their own. And this is, listen, it's not just with African Americans or Latinos. This goes all across the fucking world. People attack who's ever in close vicinity of them, and especially if they look like you find it more easily to attack them. You understand what I'm saying? That's why most of the time you'll see a white person when they go commit a mass shooting, they will go into a facility that's occupied by other white people. This is why if you see somebody black and they do what now should be termed as black mass shootings along with Latinos too, because a lot of motherfuckers are killing motherfuckers 3, 4, 5, 6 times in one setting now. Used to be this one person get popped and then every 2, 3 years or every 7, 8 months you would hear about, oh, well, more than 2 people got shot. Now that's a regular thing. That's a regular thing now. You look anywhere in this country, that's a regular thing. So the music plays attribute to this. The rappers, the 30 rappers that you saw get killed last year, yes, 30. 30, I did a report on it, still here on my page, 30. All different reasons, drug overdoses, some violence, but a lot of them, drug overdoses mostly. These people are attributed to the music they listen to. Where in existence before last year have y'all ever heard 30 rappers get killed in 1 year? Tell me. Or dead in 1 year. Tell me. Tell me what year. I was in the music business for 17 of them. From late 1999 to 2016. So y'all tell me one time in the history of hip hop since Big E and Pop and their personal beef has there been 30 rappers killed in a year? You don't think that has some provision to do with the influence of the music? Are you fucking crazy here? I mean, little shit, man. It's the music. And the reason it's so put out like that and so readily put out like that is because of this reason right here. Because it's just like Charlie and Willy Wonka and his fucking chocolate factory. It's like, it's easy to produce, it's quick to put out, it's easy to put on the shelf, and if we have any disposable product in the end, it costs us cents on the dollar. This music is easy to create. I can go, I'm a rapper, I'm a singer as well. So I can go into the studio and I can, matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all a tip, right? For all y'all artists out here. So last time you go ahead. Most artists, when you hear a reference track, what we're doing is we're going in and we're listening to the beat and we're saying to ourselves, I did everything I do. And then after that, we work from there and we replace those hums with lyrics. But what's happening now is somebody taught that pattern to one of these kids 1 year, and I think one of them learned it from watching a singer. Because when you singing, I prefer singing more than I prefer rapping. But the thing is, rapping don't take as much air and breath as singing. All right? Like, it really don't. Like, every, I don't know, couple of minutes if I want to hit the notes the way I want to hit them. And I have to watch my smidgen of breath. I have to have a certain amount of breath for certain lows. You know what I mean? So for one note, I might have like this. Oh, you know, and then one note I might have like this. Oh, you know what I mean? So, and I'm just using an example. I'm not doing nothing serious, but my point is, the tones and the notes, I have to have a certain amount of breath for each one. You know what I mean? And one might be deduced and the next one might be increased. So depending on how I spit the notes out, and rap has, I mean, the best rappers, they know this, like Jay-Z, Big knew this. That's why you used to hear Big, every breath, you'd be like, damn, why does it keep like, sound like he had a breath. No, Big taking a breath so he can make sure he hit the next note right. So it'd be like, yo, Had it up in the city. You know what I mean? Jay still does the same thing on his note. You'll hear him do the same thing. And like, think about like, Vic's inside like, we learn that trick because natural artists, we know that breathing is the most important in however you're trying to spit those lyrics out. So with these kids, they condition that because most of them, they so high on drugs and shit that they don't have the contention of breath and everything like that. So what they do is they replace that not only with words, but they replace it with energy. And the energy may be like a rock star when you jump around and just bop in your head or whatever. I get it. But there's only a place for so many artists within the, the facility of music as that. And if you notice, each one of these artists, they emulate the last artist. Not only do they emulate the last artist, but they almost, the sound that they have, the single that they have, the album that they have, it almost sounds identical. And the reason is because this is cookie-cutter music. This is cookie-cutter music, fast to produce, fast to put out. And if we lose a motherfucking truck, it don't matter. We got 5 other trucks to replace it. So basically, you as an artist, that artist is that trap artist or that pop artist or whatever. I'm looking at a bus, so that's why I'm saying this. But basically, you're the vehicle, you understand? You're the vehicle for the chocolate factory. So you do deliveries, if that makes sense to you. And if one of those delivery trucks gets in a calamity, meaning you lose your life, have a drug overdose, if one of those trucks gets robbed or whatever, it's no big deal because it's easy to replace. It's a quick product to make up. So that's why you see so much violence, not only around this music, because it's easy to replace and it's up for grabs for anybody to join into. I just watched Gossip Viv. Shout out to Gossip Viv. I just watched Gossip Viv last night. The artist just sat down there, and Gossip Viv said it just right. She said, yo, and if y'all don't know who that is, that's Troy Terrain, Star in the Morning's cousin right there. Shout out to both of them. They have been my inspiration in my drive to hop here on live, my spiritual advisors, if I may say. Gossip Viv pointed out, she said, everybody's a fucking rapper now. Everybody. Guys, I'm going to get up off of here. I just wanted to say that little bit right there. I know I went into some other things. I was supposed to be talking some more about Kevin Samuels. I started that initially off there, but I like to answer my commenters' questions and like to know what they're talking about and everything like that. And I will end like this, just like this one lady came up and she was kind of argumentative with me in here, but no hard feelings, and I hope you come back. But the fact remains of this. No, I do not control the diatribe in which you advocate your advocacy or assertion on feminism. But what I do have is I have the right to argue with your contention. I have the right to argue with your allegations. I have the right to dismiss you just as well as you dismiss me. I also have the right to challenge your thoughts as you have done so vividly in my comments section today. And I will continue to do such because I think a lot of the... what's the words I want to look for here? I think a lot of the talents, is it the talents or I'll say talents. I think a lot of the talents and the placements of a lot of the things that these women are throwing up and saying as advocacies, I think the whole dish enchilada, whatever, has been missed in this language of bullshit. These ladies called, or this woman who started the petition, said that he's furthered sexual assaults. How? Where most sexual assaults in this country are done by white men. This is the demographics of the CDC and the Department of Department of Justice, DOJ. You can look these up right now. Whites are 62% of this country, so by demographic that would make sense. If you're 62% of the population, we're talking about numbers here. We're not talking about racism or racist views or point fame. We're talking about actual fucking numbers. So if white men are doing the bulk of sexual assaults, are you insinuating that these white men are actually watching Kevin Samuels? And you said there's an uptick with black men actually assaulting black women. Well, I would challenge you with that, but there's also an uptick of black women assaulting and killing black men. Just like that one man his head was decapitated and he was set on fire. Just like another man in Arizona that was just arrested because of the same thing. The woman shot him in front of his daughter. And that's supposed to be her stepdaughter because she was mad, black woman. And I can show you many other cases of this too. And a lot of women and the feminist groups, they want to ignore this. They want to act like it's not happening. Well, the judge ain't ignoring it, and the cops ain't ignoring it, DOJ ain't ignoring it, CDC ain't ignoring it. All these outlets that we use institutionally here in this country are not ignoring those demographics, but you are as a collective group for whatever reason that you per se want to do. So for my analogy, I'll just say like this. Ladies, if you think this is the motherfucking ship to sell on, the good ship lollipop, but sooner or later that ship's gonna break down. And who gonna come fix it? Y'all gonna gather together, y'all gals, put your makeup and your motherfucking bonding agents on that you use for them terrible ass wigs that y'all don't need. Most of you fuck up your hair wearing that shit. You're putting glue in your hair, girl. Glue. It's glue. Glue belongs on wood, not air. Glue. And then you wonder why your fucking roots ain't growing no more, or why you got a hairline to start back here and shit. Because of what you projectionally have put in your mind and you've been fed since a little kid. That you must look a certain way for men to accept you. I done seen some big brawly, but pretty and thick, white women, Spanish women, and all kinds of other women, and black women included. They didn't have to wear all those accessories and get-ups and everything like that to grab themselves a man or attention of men. I've seen girls with little booties walk up in the clubs and get the most paid dude in there and make her husband and baby father, whatever ever. It's not about your looks. It's about your attitude. It's about what you stand for. Any woman that would show me she would go as far as to make a petition and go as far as to say the things she said in her diatribe, online and offline, probably, apparently, and the 15,000 women that banded together with that woman and say, hey, we're going to do the same thing. Any man that ends up motherfucking married to one of them women, I hope you deserve the worst. I hope you get the worst. Because you couldn't see offline by any of those names, and if that girl is your significant other right now, in particular, if she's your significant other in particular right now, you should ask yourself the motherfucking question. If she would do this to Kevin Samuels, what would she do to me? And you'll start getting all kinds of visions in your head. Courtrooms, dispositions on how much your assets are worth currently. How much will you be able to afford? Oh yeah, you're gonna get Dr. Dre. You just got Dr. Dre. You worth $1 billion. Well, Your Honor, I just want the court to know that my expenses, including my hair, my Bentley rental, my home, my loud expenses, and everything else was paid for him all this time, and that accumulated to about $300,000 to $200,000 a month. And she got it. There'll be a contention to do that, but what I'm trying to tell you is these women that do this, they don't do this out of love for the culture. They don't do this to try to thwart women being assaulted. No, they do this for notoriety. She wants to be known as the woman that took down Kevin Samuels and these girls are trying to get a momentum for themselves so they can be talked about, so they can be revered, so they can be applauded somewhere in the trajectory future here as they hope from this petition actually being successful. That's why they are online personally advocating, going to people's pages, starting up Facebook groups and everything else to get people more in tune with possibly trying to advocate and sign this petition to get this man removed from YouTube. And men, I say to you, if you're a man and you sign this petition, fuck you and fuck everybody that live in your house. You punk pussy motherfucker. Stand up like a man. You got a D. Act like it. Act like it. This man is no way done anything wearing his Brooks Brothers suit. She acts like we're talking about some guy that's sitting on a goddamn corner selling drugs. Kevin Samuels comes from the same background I come from, marketing. He marketed for, I believe, an investment group. I marketed for freaking record labels. So you're taking a man of this caliber and you're trying to break him down because, one, I have a hints in the back of my mind to say you're not as successful. That's usually the biggest job. I want that too. How can I get there quickly? That's why you see a lot of these chicks, they go find them a dude, get knocked up real quick by a rich rapper or something like that, and they get highlighted in their own career for that. Peace, David G. Hope all is well. Place the chat. What's going on, TMH Global? TMH, I sent you an email back too just last night. I'm sorry I took so damn long, man. I had other shit going on, man. Like I'll write you in the email and tell you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get off, but I'll write you in the email and tell you definitely. Salute, nigga. Let me tell you something, man. The chicks that are out here today are growing onto this poison of toxic femininity. And like I said just a few seconds ago, if these women will do this to Kevin Samuels or try to equate him with that or whatever, isn't it safe to say that they would do this with any other man too, as well? Does this mean this is the future of what's to go? Are they setting placement for what's actually going to happen with other men that get on YouTube and talk about what they talk about? They going to be hindered? Are they going to be selected? If you say that you don't want to be positioned in a certain place as a woman, then why the fuck are you trying to do that to your own men that are already placed in a position? You are setting a precedence right now that is ungodly and awful. And to me, it says that you have no real interest, including with that other person. What's her name? I want to make sure I say her name. What is that broad's name? Hold on 1 second. What's going on, Dom Chick? I'm sorry, baby girl. Dom Chick in the building. Being True Love, that's the name. Include what Being True Love said and hard assertions and everything like that and all that shit and all that shit. One thing she did say that stunned clear out. She's probably part of these groups. You know what I'm saying? Or she knows women that are part of these groups. Better to say. That she's not effectively herself. So let's underline that. And I'm not going to disrespect this woman on here because as y'all see, even when I had an opportunity I'm put in place. Just like I liked how some motherfuckers were on my channel. You always jumping up in women's face, bitch. You ain't seen how many times I've been jumped up in men's face on my page. The shit is on my page. Here go 2 cops. Is that good for you? And they got guns. I can see them. Fuck you talking about? You got the wrong motherfucker. All right? You got the wrong motherfucker. For real. I think I'm the last batch of them guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to make my son one when I have one. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'm the last batch of them guys. No, we need to show up, guys. The guys that really will show up, I'm one of those guys. I'll show up. Trust me on that. I'm fucking stupid. But I got a nice little record that proves that before I got in the music industry. So you think what you want to, think I'm retired. I don't do that tip and tap with chicks or whatever, because I got homegirls and got Brewer and Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, that'll tell you a new asshole. You fucking with baby boy? You know what I mean? Like, really like that. I got some girls I done met off YouTube that'll do that for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what their degree is, but I know the ones in motherfucker that I know for years, I tell you a new asshole something different. They ain't coming to fight you or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Fight you? What you talking about fighting? The new black is putting brothers against sisters. It's putting brothers against sisters, but more importantly, the sisters are putting their own brothers against themselves. See, I talked about Cynthia G earlier, and Cynthia G is a problem because Cynthia G had been on live for years calling motherfuckers dusty. I remember her proceeding the first time when I saw her on Boyce Walker's channel. Boyce Walker gave her a chance, and she did something fucked up over there, and she started talking shit about Boyce. So accordingly, Boyce sometimes had to take trash out. You know, shout out to Boyce Walker. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? She continued on with her own channel, which I think she did intentionally. She continued on with her own channel, and she started calling men dusty and dirty and all this shit. She was the best. Mind you, this chick is sitting back looking like a transsexual. She looked like I thought she was a transsexual the first time I saw her. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I mean? The first time I saw her, I thought she was a transsexual. And many other people said the same thing. Is that a dude? I was like, I don't know. She continued on or whatever. Ultimately, she ended up getting pregnant by one of her viewers who was actually a fucking dusty. This dude had like several illegitimate kids. Now, that was just another one. They were all by different mothers. You know, it was like, what the fuck is going on here? There's other women that are like her. There's another woman named Karen that's on there. She does a whole channel dedicated to how to find you a white man. I've seen about 10 of these, including there's a couple in England that do the same thing. So it's not anybody. These girls are honestly and truthfully, purposely, and I want to underline the word, purposely attacking men. They're misogynists. They hate men. For whatever reason or another, you know, some of them may have been touched when they were kids. Some of them may never had daddy there. Whatever the case may be, these women are misogynists. Now, I want y'all to look up that terminology when you get a chance. Misogynist, misogyny. Okay? These are women that hate men. And they hate men so much to agree that no matter whether it's online, whether it's on social media, whether it's physically, whether it's socially, they put up deterrents for you just for the pure simple fact that's the only way they can compete with you. Most of them. It's the only way they can compete with you, being sneaky, being conniving, or whatever. I mean, what we gonna do? We gonna fight it out? Yeah, there's a couple girls that can box. Yeah, there's a couple girls that can do kickboxing and shit like that. Shout out to Ronda Rousey. But does an average chick know how to do that? No. So as a group of them, what else are you gonna do but attack me the way you know how to? Create a petition, start a rumor, go to people's pages and put a link. That's what one of them went towards to do for me. Put a link down so I don't get anything. So, you won't help me, but now you putting up a deterrent so nobody else will help me. This was my experience. You know what I'm saying? You won't help me, but now that I'm trying to help myself, you putting up deterrents so nobody else will help me. That's true hate. That comes from way deep down inside. That's a motherfucker that does not like you, period, and trying to control you. You can't control me. Mm-mm. That's what niggas didn't like about me in the music business. You can't control me. See, I come from a crew where not necessarily I had position, but I did have my own moves I made. Nobody can control me on that aspect right there. You're not gonna do that. So that's why I try to understand like this communist, Marxist, libertarianism ideal structure that these women have, and they're executing all that ideas on the platform and on the backs of that. I'm trying to figure out where's this take y'all to. Because you try to take down Kevin Samuels, it'll be another black man after that, then another black man after that, then it'll become a repeat thing. And that's what I'm telling black men, I might even do it my fucking self. I'm gonna start making some petitions to get a couple of these bras removed offline. Because in my opinion, Kevin Samuels is PG with it. He could be more. If Corey Holcomb was doing that same type of format, y'all be ready to kill Corey. Y'all be ready to kill Corey Holcomb if he was doing that same type of format. I can guarantee you. Because he would call you all kinds of bitch and bitch, shut the fuck up. I ain't even heard Kevin Samuels say that. So there's way more guys out here that do it in the comedic terms and every other terms that would give influence to women, if you want to say, if it was in that matter, in that fashion, it'll way worse than Kevin Samuels. So to put that assertion there and to say that, that's false. Not only is it false, it has legal ramifications. Guys, my name is Davin Lewis. I'm out here. Kevin Samuels, don't reply back to these chicks. But make sure you go to that thing, and every time you see a couple more 100 or thousands or more signatures put there, make sure you take a screenshot of it. Take a long screenshot of it. Remember all those names. Look and see if some of those names come daily on your page, which they probably do, because a lot of these motherfuckers on YouTube like to play both sides of the page. They'll follow you, be uplifting you against the motherfucker you beefing with, and then go over there to the motherfucker you beefing with, and then see how they doing on the scorecard. And depending on how or whoever got the best gossip, they'll jump onto that side and jump ship. That's the average black and Latin nowadays. They're survivalists. Most of them. They've been raised like that because most of them have been raised by women. So they're survivalists. They're not creators, they're survivalists. And so that's why sometimes when I'm in interaction with a lot of black and Spanish people, we don't get along. Because your ideology and the background you come from is totally different in a lot of different ways. And that's not to say I'm better than you, but what you advocate for is not what I advocate for. And I can see beyond the horizon to see all that shit that you're talking about equates to something in the 12th or 11th grade to me, as far as the conversation. We need to move way past that. And I know this from being, if you want to say, in the architect's seat, behind the closed door, the spook that sat by the door, if y'all want to call me that. Well, I was in the music industry for 17 years, and I know a lot of this shit that goes on and why y'all see it and how it goes on. And I know that this feminism shit plays a part in the music industry too. Whether you're talking about Beyonce, shout to Beyonce, no disrespect to her, but girls rule the world, I don't remember that song? Shit like that, or whatever, gives a separation of our genders. And it puts a highlight on the separation of our genders. And I don't think a lot of women notice that and will refute that. Your emphasis, you put emphasis too much on anything, whether it's gender, sexuality, whatever, becomes a problem because now it's overvoted in society, and now people think that they have to ordain it. They think that they have to worship it. They think that they cannot speak against it, and that's just not true. The Constitution says nothing about it. I can't hop online and say fuck you and fuck your brand of feminism. The Constitution says nothing about me hopping online and saying fuck you and fuck your brand of LBGT. The Constitution doesn't say anything to speak against that. Now, I can't say I'm going to murder you. I can't say that I'm going to do some harm to you, which I don't have an intention of doing, but it does not say that I can't say fuck both of your advocacies, because I don't agree with it, and I don't agree with the language entailed within the doctrine of your advocacy. So fuck your advocacy. That's that. Guys, my name is Davin Lewis. Getting out of homelessness, so if you guys want to donate, it's $STRINGERBELL 80. Always show what I buy. I'd love to get a whole bunch of things, so $5, $10, $25, or whatever. I am literally starting from scratch and restarting my life. I use YouTube as a conduit to make money for right now, because I am literally fucking trapped monetarily, but I'm bonded by how much I can make and what I can do. It's hard to explain, but it all goes to sort of getting me out of homelessness. So I will say this, guys. Be nicer to each other. Start listening to each other, whatever. And I think the men, they always take the path of wanting to listen. And I think to listen, but not completely hearing. And I think the same thing with the women. The women just don't want to hear anything that goes opposite against what that ideology is. And I'm sorry, sweetie, you haven't lived enough to have a complete ideology of how life works. In fact, it's a detriment to God if it goes on, or even call yourself the queen or whatever, when the fact God is the king or queen of this whole entire world. That's that. $STRINGERBELL 80, STRINGERBELL 80. Also PayPal link in the description. I'll talk to you guys later on, all right? Later.